Tim, I think you do an excellent job. I don't know if I've told you this before, but you have held the bar that was set really high by Leonard Nimoy when
Yeah.
playing this Vulcan character. I believe that you've given so much justice to the role. You've played it with the intelligence, with the wit, with I mean just the way you're supposed to. At least I perceive you're supposed to do a Vulcan, and
Yeah.
you've always been outstanding with that. And I just want to make sure I tell you that.
Thank you very much. There was a couple of things when I first read for the role or was offered an opportunity to read for the role. There were two things once I booked it that I was very much concerned with. One was I hope I don't get fired after we film it, a couple of scenes and I don't like it. So I had to make sure that the producers were happy with it, but also because I had to fill these shoes of a character that's already been established. It's not like a Ferengi, whether you're coming in and you're going to make up this whole character from scratch. This
Right.
character has already been established. So if I don't get this guy right, I'm going to be in trouble for 7 years. I mean, nobody's going to like him and they're not going to buy it. They have to buy that this character is who he is because they already know what that walk and talk is all about. And if I was not right for it physically, I would not have gotten it either. So everything had to line up just perfectly for that to happen. And obviously I was familiar with Nimoy's character. They only had 3 shows on in syndication and reruns when I was growing up, and that happened to be one of them. So we saw that show all the time. So I knew that character and how the character's going to walk and talk, and that I had to be able to get that right. Otherwise, whew, would have been not very good for 7 years.
Hmm.
Well, people don't understand. It's not the ears, it's not the makeup, it's the way you play the character. It doesn't matter what makeup you put on somebody.
That's right.
It's the way you enunciate words.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
the facial expressions. It's all of
Yeah.
those things,
Yeah.
and it's just remarkable. And I love seeing you in this. It gave me a special treat because you're one of the few Star Trek actors that have now transcended multiple shows.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and now with this Picard on your resume, with Voyager on your resume, um, and then Deep Space Nine's on your resume. Um,
Next
you've
Generation.
Next Generations on your resume.
Yes.
I mean,
Wow.
this is a lot of shows and span of decades, and
Yes.
that's also another hats off that I want to give you for, staying in this genre and keeping yourself fresh and keeping yourself just delivering amazing performances time after time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a long, long process from the very beginning to get to even just to get to Voyager. It was 7 years. It was a 7 year process to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I have to thank Rick Berman because he was my champion.
Hmm.
Roddenberry was not so much my champion. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he liked me as much as Rick did. And so once he passed
Wow.
away, Rick Berman took the helm and he brought me in. And it's not long after he took over, I ended up booking stuff on Star Trek, and it just kept going from there. It's just
Wow.
serendipity.
That's really cool. Didn't know
Did
that.
you have any idea going forward when you were doing Next Generation and Deep Space Nine that eventually one day you would have your own regular role?
Not at that
Did you
time.
feel like?
No, 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 not at the time. When I was doing the feature film Generations, I worked on Generations playing a tactical officer,
Yeah.
ironically enough, but a human tactical officer. That's when Berman came up to me twice during the filming of that week. 2 times he came up to me and said, "We're developing a new series that's going to be casting next summer. It's called Voyager, and I'd like to have you read for one of the roles." He told me twice on 2 different days. He told me that.
Yeah.
And needless to say, I kept my calendar clear. That period of time the next year, I literally did not take any other work during that period of time because I didn't want to be out of town shooting on some, series somewhere doing something
Yeah.
and
If
miss
Rick
out
Berman
on
tells you
something.
twice, there's something
He
Yeah.
told
there.
me 2 times, and I said, "Nope, we're not doing
You're
it." I told my agent and my manager, and I turned down stuff. I turned down some offers. I didn't read for things because they were going to be filming over that period. I said, nope, I want a shot at that because that's a potential 7 year series. And I've already, I'm already in with the producers. So I've got a straight shot to that thing if it happens. And it almost didn't happen. It's very close because they were going to cast somebody 65 or so, an older Tuvok. So I almost didn't get that. Then they changed the age range, and that's when I walked in. So it was
Did they do a
was,
casting section for that older Tuvok?
yeah, I
Did they
think
have
they
it?
did. They were trying. They were looking at Robert Guillaume was being considered. I think Robert Guillaume was being
Okay.
considered, I think, for that role. And they tried some folks, and then they just decided, no, let's drop his age back down to 30. And that's when they got the call. I was in my agent's office when that call came in. I was just leaving my agent's office. I was walking into the lobby, and the call came in while I was there.
Wow.
And they said, "Come in and read for it." So,